What's good, everybody? It's your girl, Miss Talented, here to save your day when it comes to studio equipment. I went through, this video's been a long time coming. I know I have a couple tutorials up, and it's been a long time coming with this one. And I went through this one and actually went through my messages on my inbox and went to, and found the most frequently asked questions, and also went through the video and went through my inbox on the video and decided to answer some of those questions too. And I wrote some of them down, and I also have some information here that a lot of y'all have been asking me about. Hopefully this video will help you and kind of explain, all the questions you have. Hopefully it'll answer you, and if it doesn't answer your question, I hope it gives you more insight on, what you're looking for or whatever it may be. First, we'll start out talking about, the way that I bought my studio equipment. It was not one lump sum. I didn't have, this amount of cash and I'm going to go spend this amount and try to get all this equipment. No, I built it up. I built it up every time I would get, some more money. I kind of built it up and just kept building. One of the first things I got was FL Studio. And at first I didn't have, that was 4 summers ago. And at first I didn't have a MIDI controller. I didn't have a keyboard, so I had to use the keys on my laptop to make the beats. Secondly, then I invested in a MIDI controller, which was the MBOX board, which that was only $125. I went the cheap way first and foremost and try to get, the best way. Don't try to go out and, buy the best in the video. If you're just starting out and you have no experience with what you're doing, don't just hustle out to, buy a motif, or just try to hustle out to buy, what everybody else has or what you see Timberland using. That's not going to help you out. You need to work your way so you can know what equipment does what and you can learn more about it. Secondly, I bought Pro Tools. Now let's talk about Pro Tools. A lot of y'all have questions about the MBOX. The MBOX is the actual box. It comes, we joke around and say, hey, you really pay for the box because the CD comes with it. But the MBOX runs Pro Tools. Now, a lot of y'all asked about other interfaces running in connection with Pro Tools. The MBOX will not run without Pro Tools. MBOX, DigiDesign, you can go to digidesign.com to purchase Pro Tools. I bought mine about 3 years ago, and it was $325. $325 on eBay. eBay is a good site. I'm going to give y'all a list of, you got eBay, where you can go and get equipment. You have digidesign.com, which you can go find Pro Tools type equipment. GuitarCenter.com. You have Sandmatch.com. You have musiciansfriend.com. You have a lot of websites that you can go and purchase this stuff and just try to go for the cheaper price of all the equipment, as well as going to Guitar Center and going to Sam Ash and going to these stores. And that's one thing I will tell you. Do not be afraid to go to these stores and ask questions, because we'll list my software. I'll kind of show you a picture video of the software as I list it. As I said, we start with Pro Tools. We have the MBOX. I told you it was $325 off of eBay, which was about 3 years ago, so the price should be much cheaper. I have version 7.4. As far as my laptop, I run things on a Dell currently. So I'm in a college dorm. I like the mobility of a Dell. Inspiron Home Edition, and it is ran off Windows VISTA, and I had to get Pro Tools 7.4 or it has to be newer. Before that, they didn't produce to run with the VISTA. Next, I have the KRK Rocket 5s, which I bought those this past summer, and I paid $150 per speaker, and I went to Sam Ash and actually got them brand new, picked them up myself. Then we have the MPD-32, which was $325, and I bought it 2 years ago off of eBay, and I bought it brand new. So we have headphones. I bought these at Guitar Center, and they was $100. They're Sennheisers HD 280s, and they are very good. It's good for, hearing the music in the summer when I move home and I stay with my mom. She don't want to hear, all my beats, and she don't want to hear these big old speakers. So therefore, you want to get something like that that's good with quality and good with hearing exactly what you do. Let's see, the MXL 990 microphone. I bought mine for $50 on eBay, which was 2 years ago, and yes, it was brand new or barely used. And this microphone is a good microphone. Like I told you, I get the job done. Now, if you have more money, I advise you to invest in a better one. Invest in one that has more, for quality. I get by on this one because, I don't do my major recordings here. I go to a different studio. But as far as the recording that I do for here, this works perfectly. The MXL works perfectly. Say you want to do recording. The first thing you need to go for is a good mic that'll give you a good sound, a good, you know, whether it be Pro Tools, whether it be Logic, whether it be good Garage Band, whether it be, you know, whatever you decide to do, you know, audio, sound for it, whatever you decide to, you know, record your sound, just make sure you got a good quality to start out. If you're more into music producing, then you want to first start out with, you know, figuring out which program is suitable for you or fits your budget. That may be FL Studio. That may be Reason. Do you need both of them? No. Is it good to have both? Yes. I am able to go back and forth whichever one I decide. The difference in those two is kind of up in the air. You'd have to ask a lot of producers, but me personally, it just kind of fits. It's kind of like what I decide to pull up. Both of them, in a certain instance, do the same thing. It's just you have to learn them. You know, FL is more, you know, has different things you got to figure out. A lot of people say FL is harder, but a lot of people say Reason is harder. It just depends. You have to get into them and really dig. And a lot of people ask me, how did I learn how to do these programs? You know what? I simply got the program 4 summers ago, and I spent hours and hours and hours and hours in there clicking buttons, pushing this, that, and the other, just going through, hey, what does this do? What does that do? Oh, I'm about to make a beat. Oh, just trying to, you know, click stuff, get sounds right. And that's the best way to learn, you know, personally. It's good to have somebody who can show you, but it's also an amazing way to learn when you have the equipment and it's just you and you're pushing buttons and really learning and going, because then you learn more. To me, you learn more by teaching yourself, and that's just my personal opinion. And Reason, you also learn more. You're going to need help. I mean, every now and then you do run into a point where, hey, you might need some assistance. And there's nothing wrong with asking somebody to help. There's a lot of videos on YouTube. There's a lot of tutorials that can help you kind of show you and get you started. In the MIDI controller, internal sounds, you basically are running them through your program, through FL Studio. Whereas if you have something like the MM6 that I recently bought, the Yamaha, you can actually plug some speakers up there and there's internal sounds built in. You can actually play, you know, live. If you go to a show, you can actually play. Whereas things like the MBOX board, it doesn't have the built-in internal sounds that you would get on a different keyboard. You actually need FL Studio or Reason to run the X board. Same way with, I hope I'm answering all your questions. If I'm not, feel free to send me a message, and once they accumulate again, I'll make another video, just kind of like I did this one. This is my, third tutorial on music. I don't mind it because I want to help y'all, and I want y'all to know, you know, just a little guidance on, you know, things you can do, you know. Last thing I'm going to say, which a lot of people ask me, you know, is, how do you get started? How do you know, what you're doing? How do you, get down? I'll tell you a story about myself. When I first started out, I knew absolutely nothing. All this stuff 4 years ago would have been vague to me. It would have been, foreign language. But you know what I did? With determination, I stuck to it. No matter what. When I got, equipment, I looked at the equipment and I just took it apart mentally and took it apart physically and just wanted to know every little thing about the equipment. It's a passion you have, and it's something that comes with, your love for music or your love for what you do. If you produce, if you sing, if you rap, have a love for it. Don't be average, because the average person, they don't have a love for it. They just know, what's under the surface instead of what's underwater. Same way those type of people are the people who want to know what's on the other side of the ocean, but never get in the water to head over there and see. So be that type of person that, you might take a loss. You might buy some equipment that, you don't need. You might buy some equipment that is not good or it's not exactly what you needed for what you have. But you learn in the process. You know how to tell the next person, hey, nah, that didn't work. You know what does work, what doesn't work. You know where to get it, where not to get it. So basically with this, there's no wrong way to do these things. And, good luck. If you need any more advice, send me a message. Inbox me, twitter.com/MissTalentedMC. So therefore, please do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it, especially those are in the network of making music. I would love for y'all to subscribe to my channel because I want to know what y'all think. I want to know where y'all at in the process of making y'all's music, and just keep in touch. And if anything else I can do for you, just let me know. It's your girl, Miss Talented, and I'm out.